to this YouTube channel and this video series on how to use Python, the very fundamentals of Python. And I would just like to remind you that these videos are geared toward absolute beginners, people who know little to nothing about how to program and who would want to know how to program from beginning, understanding the basics and the concepts, the basic concepts rather. So if you know anyone who might be interested in this, please share these videos with them and let's all learn together. I mean, it's blessed to give. And I just want to remind you of that quote again. We learn by doing and we do by learning. So let's get started. Today, I'll still stick with Visual Studio Code. That's where we are for now. All right, and in the last video, I talked about these numbers and I talked about how to use the assignment operator. And we also talked about a few things like that, the parentheses for grouping. And I think, yeah, and this is called, I think I should talk about that. This is called parentheses. Yes. I hope I got the spelling correctly. All right. So today, what I quickly want to show you is how arithmetic expressions, the order in which they are executed. And you just take note of this formula. It's called PEMDAS. And what this means is that where P is for parentheses, E is for exponent, M is for multiplication, D is for division, A is for addition, and finally S is for subtraction. And what this essentially means is that the way Python looks at our codes when we run them is that it looks from left to right. And again, don't confuse this with the way I talked about how Python executes the entire program. The way Python executes the entire program is by looking at it from top to bottom, from left to right. However, for arithmetic expressions, like what we've been looking at all in a couple of videos now, the way arithmetic expressions are executed is by looking from the left to the right. And it turns out that if Python, when our program includes or it involves parentheses, that is handled first. So say for instance, we have this program where we have 2 plus 3. And if you recall that we had something like that the other time. And so let's say we have something like this, 2 plus 3. And we also have this raised to power, which of course is exponent. And say we have raised to power 2. Of course, 2 plus 3, what it means in the context of this PEMDAS is that Python looks at this place and says, okay, we have to solve these first. And the way that is solved is, so let me just come here. I'm going to comment this. I'll put this 2 plus 3. This is our expression. This is our arithmetic expression. And I'm teaching mathematics now, by the way. All right. So this gets executed first. This gets solved first. So 2 plus 3, because it's in that parenthesis. And the first thing here is parenthesis. It solves that 2 plus 3 first, and that gives us 5. And then we now have this exponent operator and 2. And of course, that's the only expression we are left with, and that's 5 raised to power 2, and that gives us 25. Of course, if you still remember, this is raised to power in Python. All right, so let's run this program. We expect to see 25, and let's see if that's absolutely correct. And yes, it is. But let's change things up a little bit. So how about if we have 2 plus 3, and we just have exponent that raised to power 2? what happens in this case? So in this case, Python looks, let's look at that formula again, PEMDAS, right? I think, let me just minimize this. So again, we look at PEMDAS, parentheses. Is there any parentheses here? No. Okay. All right. No parentheses. Do we have exponents? Goes from left to right again. Do we have it? Oh, yes, we do. All right. So let's solve that exponent first. And so here we have 2 plus 3 raised to the power 2 is 3 times 3, and that's 9, right? And so our result gives us 11. And so let's type that here. Let's see if that's what we get. 2 plus 3 raised to the power 2, raised to the power 2, and let's see, and 11. So that exactly is how this, how arithmetic expressions really work in, I would say, in programming generally, more generally, but of course even more so in Python. So let's look at another example. How about if we have, and for this one, I will not tell you the answer. I'm just going to call this exercise. Recall that I said this channel is not just for watching videos, right? So we will engage ourselves. So one of the exercises I want you to do now is, this is number 1. The first exercise is just let me know what this would be. And I want you to do it in 2 ways. First, solve it on your own. So 2 raised to the power 2 plus 3. Solve it on your own first, and then solve it with Python and see if there's any difference, and let us know what you got in the comment section. So for the second one, I will just give a little bit more complex, but of course still very little. 1 plus 2, then divided by 3. I hope that's not too complex, because I'm just making up these figures on my own. And just for this one, I just want to turn things up a little bit. Just 2 plus 3, and raise to power this 1 plus 2 divided by 3. What operator have I not used here? Minus 4. All right, so those are the 3 exercises I want to give you, and I want you to solve these questions. And in the comment section, just let us know that you're able to solve it by doing something like this. Number 1, write the answer here. Write the answer. Number 2, write the answer. And number 3, write the answer. And one more thing I want you to do is, once you write the answer, put in parentheses yes. And yes just means that you got it correctly. Or you can just say, I got this. Or maybe there's really no need to do that. I mean, let's just leave that part. But just write the answers. 1, 2, 3. These are the answers you got. All right. So this is how it's executed, like I said. And so let's just do one more example with addition and subtraction. And yeah, I think I should also make this clear that these ones, they have more like equal, they have equal priority depending on how it comes. So let's see this, for instance. So we have 4 plus 5 minus 5. Of course, 4 plus 5 minus 5, because it sees plus the addition first. And in fact, I think I should just turn things the other way around. I want to do 5 minus 8 plus 10. So if you look at 5 minus 8, that's minus 3, plus 10 will give us 7. And whether you do it this way or you first solve this one, so because if you first solve this one, it will be minus 8 plus 10, which will give you plus 2. And one mistake that people often make in this regard is that people might remove this negative sign and just do 8 plus 10, and that will give you 18, and you say 5 minus 18. No, that will be wrong. This negative sign here is associated with this 8, and this positive sign is associated with this 10. And so if you want to solve it, you do negative 8 plus 10, and that will give you 2 plus 5, and that will give you 7. It's the same thing as 5 minus 3, which gives you negative 3 plus 10, and that gives you 7. And so what that means is that the addition and subtraction, they don't really matter that much. And the same thing as this as well. Let's see that as well. So let's do 4 divided by 2 multiplied by 3. If we do this, now this division depends on what we want. If we want floor division, of course, you know by now that, yeah, but I'm just going to stick with this. So 4 divided by 2, because the first thing it sees here is the multiplication. So 2 multiplied by 3 gives us 6. 4 divided by 6 gives us, now that appears to be confusing, right? And that's because the order of operation here, these two are equal, but it just looks at it from the left to the right, depending on whichever one it sees first. So I just felt I needed to talk about that, because if you then bring this 4 multiplied by 2 divided by 2. So 4 multiplied by 2 will give us 8, divided by 2 should give us 4, and you see that. So if you look at this, it's not like multiplication got solved before the division. So it's all about how it appears, and I just felt I needed to mention that in this particular video. But yeah, don't let things confuse you as we go along. You might be dealing with financial stuff, and so you have to be very careful. And again, don't forget these exercises. Write the answers down in the comment section and let us know if you got it correctly. And see you in the next video. Have a great day. Bye.